Welcome to our store. This short program was designed to give you a brief overview of some of your safety responsibilities. We'll discuss preventing slips and falls, back injury prevention, preventing cuts and burns, food safety, hazard communication, machinery safety, and injury reporting. But we can't possibly cover every aspect of your job or situation you may face in this short program. That's why it's so important for you to use your good sense and judgment on every job, every day. Taking shortcuts will not make things faster. In fact, it could slow operations down, especially if you, a key part of the team, gets hurt. Every task has a safe and correct way to do it. If at any time you have any questions, stop what you're doing and ask your supervisor. They'll be glad to help. Attend safety meetings and provide suggestions and feedback to stay involved and help others be safe. You should report to work each day on time, rested, alert, and ready to give your full attention to your job. Wear appropriate clothing, including your uniform and name badge. No open-toed shoes or shoes with more than 1-inch heel should be worn. Shoes with slip-resistant soles are recommended. Personal appearance is very important. Make sure you are clean, your clothes are clean, and that you look presentable. Remember, your appearance reflects directly upon the image of your store. Wash your hands thoroughly before beginning your workday, after using the restroom, and as often as dictated by store policy. Slips, trips, and falls are common incidents, and this should not be the case in your store. Why? Because each slip, trip, or fall is preventable. Look for hazards. Conduct periodic sweeps to discover hazards. Clean up all spills immediately. If you can't clean it up yourself, get someone else to clean it up. But stand by until they arrive with the proper cleaning supplies. Make sure caution cones are in place until the floor is completely dry. Floors in all departments should remain dry at all times. Some spills may require abrasive cleansers to clean the floor properly and not leave slippery residue. Always carry a paper towel to clean up small spills. If you see something on the floor, pick it up. It only takes a few seconds and can really make a difference. Keep all aisles clear. Do not leave boxes, pallets, or product in aisles. Make sure end cap displays and floor stacks are sturdy and well balanced. If a job requires you to use a ladder, use a ladder. Don't use a chair, box, milk crate, or other unsafe item. Never climb on shelves or other fixtures. Use a ladder. Keep mats clean and straight. We know you're busy, but never run at work. Also, be aware when going around blind corners or when entering or leaving the stockroom. The main entrances or exits, there may be someone on the other side of the door. Keeping things organized in the back room can also help prevent slips and falls. Keep like items together. This not only aids in restocking, but also allows for precise counts and accurate orders. Make sure all stock in the back room is easily accessible. Also make sure your spoils, credit, return, and mispick areas are neat and in order. Slip-resistant shoes are recommended and will help prevent slips, trips, and falls. There are also ways to reduce your risk of a back injury. Let's begin with safe lifting techniques. Before you lift anything, make sure it can be done safely. If it's too heavy or awkward to lift by yourself, ask a coworker for assistance. Don't take chances. For team lifts, one person should be in charge and count 1, 2, 3 to time the lift properly. When you lift anything, remember, bend your legs, not your back. If you bend at the waist like this, you're putting yourself at risk. For example, you have to lift a box. Place your feet close to the item you are going to lift, slightly staggered, about a shoulder's width apart. Bend your knees, keeping your back as straight as possible. Get a good palm grip on the item. Don't just use your fingertips. Next, pull the item close to your body. Then stand up. Pulling the item close helps reduce the strain placed on your back. Remember, bend your legs, not your back. Reverse the steps to set an item down safely. But you're not always just lifting a box off the floor. You should avoid stretching or reaching while you lift as well. Find a better way to lift safe. Sometimes you can't avoid reaching. In these instances, use a free hand to support your back until you can perform the lift safely. Also, never twist while lifting. Instead, lift the item, pivot your feet, then set the item down. Heavy items should be stored where they are easiest to lift, at waist level. Never store heavy items over shoulder height. If you need to load a hand truck, be careful not to overload it or make it too heavy. Make sure the load doesn't obstruct your vision. Don't pull a hand cart like this. Push it. Use caution when pushing any cart, as small children, customers, and other employees can be injured by carts and hand trucks. If you're called away for some reason, be sure to remove the cart or truck from the sales floor. An unattended cart or hand truck is an accident waiting to happen. Safety isn't difficult, but it is part of your job responsibilities. Cuts and burns are also preventable by following a few simple rules. Never touch broken glass with your bare hands. Use a broom and dustpan. Make sure the glass is cleaned up completely. Even a small piece of broken glass can cause an injury. Dispose of glass in the approved location. Don't just dump it somewhere where someone could get cut. If you work with knives or other sharp implements, special cut-resistant gloves may be required. These gloves are cut-resistant, not cut-proof, so it's vital that you work safely and pay close attention to the task at hand. Before using a slicer, make sure the guard and the food grip are in place before starting it. Slicer blades are extremely sharp and should be treated with respect. Never use your hand to hold product. Use the food grip. Don't take chances. When cleaning the slicer, first unplug it. Then make sure the control knob is set to 0. Use a protective glove on each hand and use a folded towel to prevent cuts. When handing a knife to another employee, always present them the handle, not the blade. Never run with a knife under any circumstances, and when walking with a knife, always carry it with the blade pointed down. Keep knives sharp at all times. A sharp knife will reduce the amount of force required to cut the product. Dull knives increase the likelihood of injury due to the added force required to cut. Always pay attention to what you are doing and avoid distractions. Never leave knives sitting in dishwater or on a counter where someone could get injured. When you're done, wash, rinse, and sanitize the knife and store in the appropriate location. Box cutters can present a hazard to you and our customers. Even safety box cutters can cause a nasty cut if not treated with respect. A sharp blade in your box cutter will reduce the force required to cut and minimize the risk of the blade slipping off the box, cutting your hand, arm, or other body part. Use the cutter properly so you don't damage the stock inside the carton. Always keep your free hand out of the cutting path. This way, if the cutter does slip, your hand won't be in its path. Never leave a box cutter sitting on the sales floor or on a shelf where someone could get injured. Put it away safely when you are done. Old blades should not just be thrown in the regular trash. Dispose of them in the proper location. There may also be areas where you could possibly get burned. If so, exercise caution and use oven mitts when handling any hot item. Don't use a wet towel. This can cause a nasty steam burn. Never operate or attempt to clean a fryer unless you have been trained and authorized to do so. Food safety and sanitation are vital to a successful store. Be aware of expiration dates on products and never allow expired products to remain on the shelf. Always rotate product on a first-in, first-out basis. This means never place stock you just received in front of stock on hand. By doing this, you are ensuring that fresh product is available for each customer and no product goes to waste. Avoid cross-contamination between different types of product. For example, don't store beef with pork or poultry with seafood. Raw food should not be stored above cooked food. Juices from the raw food can contaminate cooked food. Remember, all perishable products must be stored at 40 degrees or below. Pallets of merchandise should be broken down, sorted, and put away as soon as possible. Give priority to perishable items. Proper temperatures for perishable products should be maintained at all times. All light bulbs should have protective covers. This way, in case a bulb breaks, no glass or other particles can contaminate food items. And wash your hands often and thoroughly. You may also work with a variety of chemicals during the course of your job. They are all safe to use if you follow procedures. When using any chemical, always read the label first and wear the proper personal protective equipment such as gloves if required. If you want more information about the chemical than what is provided on the label, consult the MSDS or Material Safety Data Sheet for that particular product. Never ever mix chemicals for any reason. The chemicals you are provided are specifically formulated to perform certain jobs, and mixing them will only create a hazard. This is especially true with bleach or products containing bleach. Bleach is never to be mixed with any other chemical and should be used only in well-ventilated areas. If you transfer chemicals to a smaller container, this container must be properly labeled. Never use chemicals in an unlabeled container. If you are unsure on how to use a chemical, see your manager and remember to only use chemicals that have been specified for a particular job. There are various machines and equipment throughout your store that can be potentially hazardous. No one under the age of 18 is allowed to operate any powered equipment. Each piece of equipment is different, and you must receive training before operating any of them. Just because you've been trained on the mixer doesn't mean it's safe for you to use the baler. Only use machines after you've been trained and authorized. And even after you're trained, if you have any questions about safety or how to perform a particular task in a safe manner, stop what you're doing and ask your supervisor. Also, do not use gloves near fast-moving machinery. The glove can get caught and pull your whole hand and arm into the machine. No gloves, and stay focused on the task at hand. Each machine has its own guard designed specifically to prevent injury. You need to know this before you operate any machinery. Never operate any machinery unless you have been trained and authorized. Electrical safety is also a part of your job. Be aware of any potential electrical hazards such as cords that are frayed or damaged plugs or receptacles. Electrical panels must not be blocked, and there should be at least 36 inches of space around them at all times. Extension cords are only to be used on a temporary basis. When you are done, the cord should be placed back in its proper location. No permanent use of extension cords. Fire prevention is another area requiring a team effort. Don't block exit doors, fire extinguishers, or electrical panels. Fire extinguishers are available throughout the workplace and should be inspected monthly to make sure they're in proper place and fully charged. Sprinkler systems are designed to extinguish fires. Never stack any materials within 18 inches of any sprinkler head. Keep storage areas clean and free from accumulations of waste paper, trash, cardboard, and other potential fire hazards. Don't stock combustible materials in front of water heaters or within 18 inches of light fixtures. Smoke only in authorized areas and be sure to extinguish all smoking materials when you are finished. Electrical hazards also require special attention. Inspect cords, plugs, and receptacles for damage, frays, cracks, or cuts. If you notice electrical hazards, bring it to the management's attention right away. Let's now review some tips on how to prevent customer accidents. It's up to all employees to look for potential hazards, such as merchandise on the floor or stacked improperly on the shelves. Chemical products such as bleach, liquid detergents, and other bottled liquids can leak. So take care when stocking these items to make sure caps are properly tightened. When bagging groceries, take care never to package cleaning products with or next to perishable foods. Cart collection is another area requiring your safety effort. Don't try to collect more than 6 carts at a time. Too many carts are difficult to control or push. Inspect the carts for broken wheels, wire baskets, or other damage. Remove any unsafe carts from service until they can be repaired. If you see a potential safety hazard, correct it immediately if you can. And if that's not possible, be sure to report it to management so it can be corrected. If you're injured on the job, immediately report the injury to management. Even if you don't think you need first aid or medical treatment, report all accidents and injuries when they occur. In the event a customer is injured or reports an injury to an employee, immediately notify management. Show concern, but do not offer apologies or opinions. Do not answer questions. Management should handle all customer complaints, accident reports, and customer injuries. Be polite and cooperative, but let management handle all customer inquiries or injuries. Remember, clean up all spills immediately. Always lift safely. Get help with heavy or awkward items. Never touch broken glass. Respect your box cutter. Keep food safety in mind. Wash your hands. Never mix chemicals. Keep your work area clean. Don't block fire safety equipment. Never operate machinery unless you are trained and authorized. Report all accidents and injuries when they happen. Safety is nothing more than taking the time to think about safety. Following company safety rules and using good judgment. Safety is an individual responsibility. Take pride in your job. We want you to enjoy it. If you have any ideas about how to make your department or our store better, we'd love to hear it. And if at any time you have questions about safety or service issues in your department, don't hesitate to talk to your supervisor.